Shiwa has an opportunity to go to school thanks to spinning the soup ladle. Whereas he can go to school, his sister has to quit school. His father told Shiwa to study hard. Because he is poor, only one of his children could go to school. There is a big river on the road to school. On the first day, his father watches him walk through the river. Then he no longer goes to school with him. In a morning, it is pouring with rain. Shiwa and 𝐂𝐄𝐒 are standing and looking at the fast-flowing river. When Shiwa steps forward, 𝐂𝐄𝐒 follows after him. However, heavy rain makes the water rise and flow very fast. Shiwa cannot stand on his feet anymore. When he turns around to find 𝐂𝐄𝐒, he only sees her bag and her umbrella floating on the water. 𝐂𝐄𝐒 used to play with Shiwa yesterday. But from now she will never wake up, which makes Shiwa scared. He also becomes afraid of crossing the river to school. Because of that, he begins to elude going to school. You have been absent from school for 3 days, haven't you? I must punish you. Do you feel sorry for your sister? Although her daughter tries to stop, he still spanks Shiwa. The next day, Shiwa is standing by the river. After a few steps, he stops and starts crying out loud. At this moment, his father carries him on his back and says, "You have to go to school every day, no absence at all." Since then, Shiwa has studied very hard. He's got elite achievements from primary school to secondary school, especially in chemistry. At high school, Shiwa attends a boarding school. The dormitory is very cold in winter. The dumplings are frozen because of the cold weather. Students have to dip them in hot water before eating. They also have to use thick blankets while studying. That day, Shiwa's sister comes to meet him at the dormitory. She brings him some hot dumplings. Shiwa takes one and eats it right away without saying anything. His sister advises him to study harder. She also tells him to be kind to his father. Before leaving, she gives Shiwa the tuition fee. Shiwa goes back to his room in the dormitory. But he does not notice her unusual behaviors. In summer vacation, he comes back home. Shiwa is holding his shirt and jumping on the field. He suddenly sees a wedding delegation with loud music. He is so happy that he starts singing along. Upon arriving at home, he sees a big symbol of the wedding on the gate. He becomes extremely sad. He keeps calling, "Sister." He runs inside the home and asks his father where his sister is. She's married. Looking at the money on the table, he stares at his father, yelling, "I hate you." He runs outside to chase after his sister. But they've been leaving for a long time. He cries. At school, Shiwa is one of the best students. His teacher chooses him as a contestant in a chemistry competition. He gives him money to sign up for the contest. When Shiwa does not take it, teacher 𝐂𝐄𝐒 says, "I don't give you money, I lend you." Then, Shiwa writes a note of debt for teacher 𝐂𝐄𝐒. After Shiwa gets out of the room, Mr. 𝐂𝐄𝐒 takes that note and uses it as a towel to wipe the ink on the pen. Shiwa begins to learn how to do housework. During dinner, he announces that he will join a chemistry competition. After spending days and nights studying under the candlelight, Shiwa eventually gains the achievement as his teacher desires. He wins the first prize in 𝐂𝐋𝐖 province. The high school celebrates for his prize. Mr. 𝐂𝐄𝐒 tells his father about the journey of winning this award at the school gate. His father is very excited and happy. He is holding his certificate on the way back. Shows it to every single neighbor he meets. The neighbors are all happy for him. When they pass through the gate of the headman's house, his father also gives the headman a cigarette. During the harvest season, his sister comes back home to help. His father brings corn home, but he slips on the road. After that, he starts to have headaches. His sister tells him to take care of their father. Shiwa has prepared breakfast very early. His father is still lying on the bed. "Are your legs really okay?" "It's all right." His father urges him to go to school quickly. When Shiwa is studying, his pencil suddenly breaks. He is having a bad feeling, so he decides to pack up and go home right away. At his home, there are many people inside. "Daddy, Daddy, are you okay? What happened to him?" "Uncle, hi, what's wrong with my father?" "He had a stroke." The neighbors take his father to the hospital promptly. After he gets home, he could not eat on his own. He gets frustrated and throws all the food. Shiwa opens the door and sees this scene. He begins to clean the food left on the floor. Since that day, Shiwa has not lived in the dormitory. Every day, he goes to school in the morning and comes back home after studying. He takes care of his father, giving him medicine daily. When everything's done, he runs to school to study. He attends class whether it is sunny or rainy. He even studies harder. After all, Shiwa passes the entrance exam to the pedagogical university. His teacher comes to Shiwa's house to give the admission notice. All the villagers are delighted. They have a small party for him. His father is also smiling happily. However, there is an issue that he is thinking of. If he goes to the university, What will happen to his father? He is struggling to choose between the university and his beloved father. When he is stuck in a dilemma, he thinks about his sister. When visiting home, she has sewed some shoes for Shiwa. She also promises to take their father to her home. Shiwa's problem will be solved. However, the father rejects the offer from his daughter. He pushes Shiwa away. How can you get all these things? Why did your sister get married? Now, I am miserable like this. I don't want to make your sister worried about me anymore. His father meets the headman to register a life insurance. But the life insurance is only applied for someone having no children. Learning about this, Shiwa comes back home and knocks on the door. But his father does not let him in. Shiwa can only kneel in front of his mother's image and cries. He decides not to attend university. One day, when Shiwa is about to go out and get water, his father stops him. He shows the admission notice and asks him what happened. I won't go to the university. How dare you? Daddy, I cannot leave you alone when going to the city. His father is so angry that he takes a stick to hit Shiwa. But before he can do it, he falls down. Shiwa comes to help him up. But the old man does not let him do this and constantly hits Shiwa. When his father cannot hit him anymore, Shiwa says, Dad, I love you, I can take care of you. At midnight, Shiwa is woken by a barking dog. He turns on the light and finds his father disappear. He hastily runs outside to look for him. He sees the dog standing by the well and barking loudly. Dad! Shiwa jumps into the well and saves his father without hesitation. They don't say any word. After that, his father confesses. Shiwa, I don't want to be your burden. Shiwa is afraid that his father will kill himself again. He answers, I will go to school. The next day, the headman and others come to Shiwa's house for some news. They accept to offer Shiwa a family insurance. The villagers will look after his father. Nevertheless, Shiwa insistently refuses. I will take my father with me. Take him with you. Mr. 𝐀𝐄𝐒 has helped Shiwa find a house in the city. Therefore, he wants to go there with his father. Before departure, his father takes the certificate and gives it to Shiwa. Shiwa closes the door of his house. He pulls the wagon on which his father is sitting to the village gate. Standing by the river, Shiwa is looking at his father. The old man is smiling at his son, who is now a grown-up man. Now, Shiwa bends down and starts carrying his father on the back to cross the river. When he was a child, his father carried him. Now he is doing the same thing to his father. The last sunshine of the day is shining on the two people. It's like a light of hope inside their hearts.